Hello friends, we'll be discussing characteristics of infancy in this video. Yes, the most wonderful time period of life or phase of life, we call it as a infancy, where we are fully dependent upon our parents and our family members or caregivers. So during this period, what are the characteristics an individual have? What are the traits? So this video is all about the characteristics that may be your psychological and physical characteristics. A small example, when you see a baby or a shishu or an infant, that infant is always engaged in a whole movement. Small movements of infants are always beautiful and attractive. Why it is? Because infant uses whole body movements. Infant is not specialized in movements. That's why her movement is mesmerizing and very beautiful. So all these things we are going to discuss in this video. We call it as a characteristics of infancy. Let us start. What all these characteristics are? We'll be starting with what does infant means. The word infant has been derived from the Latin word infans. Yes, you are right. Which means the individual who is unable to speak a formalized language or any language or speechless. That infants means speechless. And from that infant word has been derived, and for our easy understanding, that period of infancy or infant has been categorized from 0 to 24 months. That is the day individual take birth and up to almost 24 months or 2 years is the period of infancy. Yes, we are all gone through this stage. And what this stage is important is the first fundamental aspect the infant has to learn is adjustment with a new environment. Because yes, we were very safe in our mother's internal environment, and there we did not to worry about anything. Every the oxygen, the food, and the space and security and safety, everything our needs were answered by our mother, fulfilled by rather our mother. And to understand this infancy, this has been subdivided into two stages. That is pre-nascent. The pre-nascent stage just after 30 minutes. Oh, sorry. First 30 minutes of the birth, after the birth. That stage is pre-nascent stage. Now you must be knowing that this is a part of infancy, but generally we call it as a pre-nascent stage because individual is harassed at this stage, doesn't understand what had happened. He has to travel through the birth canal, had to hard work, and to adjust with the immediate environment. Temperature changes, the pressure changes, environment changes, the different sounds enter through the ears. Eyes, the individual has to see something different, which was different from your internal environment. So this first 30 minutes is known as a pre-nascent stage and very, very crucial and important for the infancy. Then the second phase is you call it the infant stage up to 2 years. So this was a rough idea. Now, if I ask a question, what are the two subdivided stages? Here are two divided, which are the sub stages of pre-nascent stage. Please let me know. Can anyone answer? Yes, you are right. It is first 30 minutes is pre-nascent stage, and the next is infancy up to 2 years. Now let us start with physical characteristics first of infant. What are the all physical developments? At birth, infants are helpless, we all know, in controlling their even own body. The physical development is rapid during infancy, which includes physical and brain changes. So here I want to let you know one more important thing is in various examination, entrance examinations, competitive examination, there is one question comes, that is, which is the stage where highest and rapid development takes place? Dear friends, it is infants. Infancy is the stage. Reflex activities develops, motor skill develops, Sensation, perception, learning skill, health use, everything changes immediately with fast rate, rapid rate. The birth weight range of an infant is 2.5 to 4.5 kg, and average height range is 18 to 22 inch, means 1.5 feet or almost 2 feet. But see the rate of development in first 6 months, just after the birth, and the first 6 months, the weight doubles. So fast it is, and height increases by almost 1 feet, 10 to 12 inches. This much rapid growth you will never see in your life after that infancy. Suppose you are a 25-year-old young adult, and can you imagine in the next 6 months your weight will be, suppose your weight is at that 25 years is 60 kg, you are male. Can you imagine that your weight will be in the next 6 months is going to 120 kg? There's no so rapid growth. That rapid growth period is only infancy. That is physical, as well as physical growth is concerned. So these are the physical characteristics. I think you could understand right now. If you have any question, you can ask me. What are the reflexes? They are the automatic reactions to stimulation. That what is the stimulation? That information coming from the external environment. That is stimulation. That enable infant to respond to the environment before any learning has taken place. There was no learning, there was no activities, there was no experience of a child, but child start reflexing. What are that reflexes? There are certain common reflexes. You call it the blinking. There is a puff of air when touches the face of a child. There is a blinking occurs. Then second is Babinski, pressing or stroking the side of the foot. This is very interesting. This reflexes. If you press or stroke the side of the foot, the child first pulls the fingers and thumbs rearwards, and after a few time, that within next moment, the fingers and your the thumb is and just curves inside. That is called Babinski. Grasping. Then, if you press an object or your finger to the palm of the infant, the individual, that infant is likely to grasp it immediately. Sucking. You put a finger in the mouth, you'll start see that the infant is start sucking your finger. These are the reflexes. There's nothing, no learning has taken place. Just after the birth, that that infant start behaving this way. These are the reflexes. Babkin. You stroke a forehead of a child. What the child, that infant do is, it turns the forehead toward the stroking direction and opens mouth. That is called Babkin. These are the common reflexes displayed by the infants just after the birth or during infancy period. Now see the motor skills. Motor development follows cephalocaudal, I already discussed you, from center and upper body, and proximodistal patterns, that is extremities and lower body. These two principles, the motor development is based on in these two principles, cephalocaudal and proximodistals. Take the example of first reflex is 1 month. The first month, child learns to lift chin while lying. In the second month, raise chest from proline position. 4 months, grasp objects such as rattles and every other objects, whatever comes to her hand. 5 months, very beautiful moment, rolling over. 8 months, sit without any support. 10 months, stand yet with some support. Sorry. 14 months, learn to walk alone. These are the some reflexes and these are the stimuluses and comes under the motor skills. Next come the senses. Vision. We know that newborn is nearsighted. That infant cannot see far objects. Babies are born with the ability to focus only at close range about 8 to 10 inches. But during developmental process and growth period over time, the focus improves over the first 2 3 years of life to a normal vision of 20 or 20 by 20 of adult vision. Within 2 to 3 years, that vision comes to normality. Newborns are can detect light and dark but cannot see all colors. This is a very important thing, that newborns cannot detect all colors and cannot differentiate also. The second is hearing. Hearing is fully developed in newborns. This means when we take birth, we come with fully developed hearing centers in our brain. Infants seem to prefer a high pitched voice of mother to a low sounding voice of males or father. So, see, why that infant respond to mother's voices? Because they prefer high pitched voices and they love to do that. They also have the ability to tune out loud noises after hearing them several times. It's a very interesting thing. If you uh, offer a sound or a voice to an infant repeatedly, after a few moments or few time, that individual starts tuning out these loud noises, start avoiding that. This is a very important ability of hearing. The problem of hearing loss, this is a very interesting thing here. If infant is facing a hearing loss, what it can do? Let me know. Let me explain. It can prevent the stimulation of the brain's hearing centers. It's a very common. If there is some hearing problem in the with the infant, that stimulation won't reach the brain's hearing centers. What it can do is, which can affect the maturation and development of hearing. That centers, if they don't get stimulated, they won't get developed. If they won't develop, then it directly affects the hearing and it can delay speech as well as language learning. So, hearing is very important, and if the individual or the unable to stimulate the brain centers, the development of these centers retards, and that can affect other things, that is speech and language acquisition. Third is taste. Taste buds begin forming early in fetal development during prenatal development. It is known that babies prefer sweet taste over sour or bitter taste. Why? Because babies prefer mother's milk than other. Mother's milk is sweet, so they prefer sweet. And it is not only that, due to that, if some infant doesn't get mother's milk also, that time also they prefer sweet. And babies also show strong preference for mother's milk. That was the taste and smell. The brain's olfactory center forms very early in fetal development. Similar thing when we take birth, and when you also taken your birth, that time your olfactory centers of the brain are all fully developed. That has been developed during prenatal development. It is a gift of your mother, so you must say thanks to your mother. So she had given you a very well developed olfactory center. Studies and researches have found that newborns are keen sense of smell. They can smell several things, and they can understand that also. Within first few days, I'm talking here first few days, they will show preference for the smell of their own mother. You can do a small experiment at your home. If you have an infant at your home, you take 2 3 ladies and cover their faces, and you take that infant to near to them. Without seeing the face, the child, the infant will identify her mother. Oh, that, what is that? That is due to the her body smell, that body odor. This means they have keen preference for their own mother. Touch. At birth, babies are thrust into a new world. They, the environment immediately changes, where their arms and legs can suddenly move freely. They have freedom to move, and you see, a newborn infant watches helplessly to and moving eyes here and there, and start experiencing different things because environment has immediately changed. You can experiment with that, and you have to very take care before handling the infants because they are very delicate and very beautiful, and do some experiments with them, but be very careful and uh, ensure that their skin and their whole senses and are so very delicate, including their head. See, if you place a hand on the baby's abdomen or cuddling close can help a baby feel more secure because that information reaches through the touch. Holding a baby for feeding is also very important because not feeding does not only provide your nutrition, it also provide a psychological satisfaction and security through the touch sensation. Breastfeeding ensures that a baby spends several hours in mother's arm and feeling secure, and ensure mother ensures with her touch that you are close by me. So touch is also a very important, and this develops during this is a very important characteristics of infancy. Perception. What perception is? It is a psychological process by which the human brain processes the sensory data collected by the sensory organs. Just the information collected by the sensory organs is getting processed in the brain, and that is uh, understood or in some meaningful information. Visually, infants are aware of depth, the relationship between foreground and background, and size and size, shape consistency, the consistent size and shape of objects. This later ability, that is known as size consistency, is necessary for infants to learn about the events and objects which are coming in the future life. Next is learning. What is the learning? It's the process that results in relatively permanent change in behavior based on experiences. You remember John B. Watson's experiment with 11-month-old little Albert in the 1920s. How that John Watson come up with a behaviorism and shown to the world that how things can change. Babies generally respond well to the operant conditioning than classical conditioning. Difference. Observation learning is the fastest and most natural means by which an infant acquires new skills. Dear friends, it was the learning, and these are the references. So if you have, our next lecture will be hazards of infancy. So dear friends, if you have any comments or any suggestion, you can email me to my email vermasujit@com. By the time, thank you for watching this video.